representing the Senate President, Chairman of the committee, distinguished senators, honorable members of the House of Representatives, the Minister of FCT, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you as many things in one. One, I was a former vice president. Two, as a concerned citizen who fanatically believes that education is Nigeria's surest route to development. Three, as an indigene of Adamawa State, which houses the Modibo Adama University of Technology. And fourthly, as the founder of the American University of Nigeria, Yola. I formally joined fellow compatriots in the advocacy for the conversion of the university from a specialized entity to a conventional one. I salute the courage of the senators from Adamawa and Katsina states and all senators for pushing on this bill. I salute also the Vice Chancellor of the Modibo Adama or Mautek. Most importantly, I feel highly moved by the plight of our teeming youths from Adamawa State and all other states within the catchment area who were denied a chance to access university education over the years by our inability to make Mautek a conventional university. Distinguished senators, ladies and gentlemen, almost 1 in 4 sub-Saharan people reside in Nigeria, making it Africa's most populous country. It is also the 7th most populous country in the world and one that is growing. From an estimated population of 42.5 million people at the time of independence in 1960, Nigeria's population has more than quadrupled to 186,988 million people in 2016 by United Nations projection. And the United Nations anticipate that Nigeria will become the 3rd largest country in the world by 2050, with nearly 400 million people. We must therefore invest heavily in education. Members of the National Assembly, I want you to really listen to this. Nigeria's population growth is exerting immense pressure on the country's resources and overstretching public services and infrastructure. At the center of this pressure is the nation's education sector. I have carefully studied the declining allocation of resources to the education sector from 2014 till today. It's been dropping from 9.46 until today is at its lowest. More profound is the access gap that characterizes the higher education sector in the country. Record from JAM indicates a wide disparity between the number of applications and the actual number of successful admission in the nation's tertiary institutions. There is largely overwhelming unmet demand among college-age Nigerians. You see, when we were in office, we passed the compulsory education from primary to secondary school, and also imposed taxation on education. Deputy Senate President, senators, members of the National Assembly, I will appeal to you to look at that law again, because there is a defect in the sense that monies or funds being given to states to develop education are being diverted. Now, there is need for you to look at the law so that you can amend it in such a way that if a particular state refuses to deploy all the resources sent to it for education, is penalized, and is penalized by making sure that the government at the federal level steps in directly to invest in that educational development. So this is one law I will appeal to you to take a look at for review again. More than 60% of the country's population is under the age of 24. A rapid expansion of the nation's higher education sector in recent decades has failed to deliver the resources or ceased to accommodate demand. A substantial number of would-be college and university students are turned away from the system. About 2/3 of applicants who sat for the country's joint admissions and matriculation examination could not get places in the Nigerian colleges and universities in recent years. This is a disaster, because once you have young men and women who cannot proceed for higher education, you are inviting what we have today: insecurity, poverty, and all whatnot. In the northeast of Nigeria, the situation is even more precarious. Please, can we have some silence? With the general state of insecurity as a result of Boko Haram insurgency, even where admissions are offered, movement within the sub-region to access the required education becomes not only Herculean, but risky, because parents cannot afford to send their children to that location. I'll give you an example. I ran a university. During the heat of the Boko Haram, even the enrollment of the American university declined, because people from other parts of the country were hesitant in sending their children to Yola, even though Yola was not even the hotbed of Boko Haram. It was Borno, our neighbors and brothers. Any serious government requires adequate investment of thought into expanding access and deliberately making it available to shrink the application admission gap and encourage our willing and able youths to move beyond secondary education. Thus, our advocacy for the conversion of MAUTEC from a specialized university to a conventional university is an advocacy for access and equity. This is informed by our very viable peculiarities. Converting Modibo Adama University of Technology to conventional university would expand the chance of qualified candidates to get placement beyond the limited confines of engineering and sciences. Of course, when in 2016, the Federal Executive Council directed that admission into non-specialized directed that admission into non-specialized science and technology courses be stopped, there was adverse effect on the university and even the host community. For instance, student enrollment drastically reduced from 7,309 in 2016-2017 session to 3,795 in the 2018 and 2019 session, and in 2,556 only in 2019-2020 academic session. The Vice Chancellor is here to confirm. This is aside the social and economic multiplier effect on the host community and beyond. The reduction in student enrollment resulted in drastic decline in the internally generated revenue of the university and the attendant difficulty in providing basic services needed for teaching, learning, and research. There is also the fate of the lecturers in the management sciences to be tackled. I believe the Vice Chancellor will address that in detail. A compelling justification for the conversion is the location of the university. MAUTEC Yola is located in the northeast region of the country, a region just emerging from a grueling insurgency whose central creed is antagonism with Western conventional education. Therefore, limiting access to higher education to a large number of youths in the region will not only mean submitting to the defeat of the insurgents, but worsening the challenges of youth bulge in the area. The general state of fear, both imagined and real, has enveloped the region as a result of the activities of the dreaded Boko Haram and general insecurity on the roads, has extinguished the motivation in parents to send their children to neighboring conventional universities that should ordinarily absorb the candidates. Added to this is the worsening economic situation in the region, which has been deepened by the insurgency. The conversion of the university will create more access to students and lessen the burden on parents and guardians who would ordinarily find it difficult to send students far for academic pursuit. Generally, Nigerian public universities are oversubscribed. That is why wealthy Nigerian parents today spend $1 billion sending their children abroad, even to places like Ghana. It is also becoming increasingly difficult for Adamawa State candidates to get admitted into neighboring conventional universities. For example, the Vice Chancellor will confirm again, not more than 2 candidates get admitted to read law, medicine, and pharmacy in nearby universities. All the states in the Federation now have conventional universities, except Adamawa. For the purpose of equity and fairness, it is just rational for the university to be converted. Distinguished senators and members of the National Assembly, please, I beg you, at least qualified Adamawa citizens and other students within the catchment area would have the advantages of accessing admission into highly competitive courses like medicine, law, pharmacy, etc., which the country badly needs and sadly lack in sufficient numbers. The conversion would confer a lot of advantage to an already educationally disadvantaged region. It will lead especially to the improvement in gender mainstreaming and girl-child education. It is on record that the region is already a leader in poor girl-child mobility from secondary to tertiary education. For development purposes, this will aid tremendously in reversing the trend and entrenching equity. Distinguished senators, members of the House of Representatives, my prayer, it is in the overall national interest that you favorably consider the conversion of Modibo Adama University of Technology, Yola, to a conventional university, which, in addition to courses in science and technology, will have the mandate to run courses in medicine, pharmacy, law, the arts, and social and management sciences. This indeed is the surest way to accelerate access, quality, relevance, and equity for our people in Adamawa State, the Northeast, and indeed Nigeria. It is equally part of a right step towards rebuilding a broken people. We lose nothing and gain everything if we just get this done. Distinguished Deputy Senate President, members of this very, very important committee, members of the House of Representatives, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much indeed for giving me the opportunity to make this presentation. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and God bless the National Assembly of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.